Tubman was like a father to all of us. We were all part of the Tubman culture. And Tubman had come into office at a very crucial time and had done some important things and really felt a duty to how he dealt with the United States. Tubman was not a very highly educated individual. He had not obtained any university education. And so he depended on the United States in such a way that he was virtually subservient to the will of the United States. Tubman did speeches and took them to the United States Embassy for the ambassador to read his speeches and all this type of nonsense. So we all knew this coming. So that period, and so his rule in Liberia, I would like to say that in so many ways, the advantage was taken of Tubman, and not trying to be negative of this man, but he was used in some very unfortunate ways.
Such as?
At the beginning of the quest for African countries, when the liberation struggle was at its zenith in Africa, when the late Kwame Nkrumah, coming home from school in the United States, I think Kwame went to Lincoln University in the United States, there was this move for African unity. You had Liberia, the oldest independent African country. You had Ethiopia, the oldest free state with an emperor. You had the struggle going on in Kenya with Kenyatta and another very good gentleman that got killed in Mboya, Tom Mboya. These names, we're going to have to get the spelling. This quest for the union to bring Africa together was being driven by Kwame Nkrumah, Ahmed Ben Bella of Algeria, and that group. And there was a famous meeting held in Addis Ababa to discuss the bringing together of Africa to form a united Africa. Tubman, sadly, the West at that particular time, the United States and most Western countries, saw a united Africa as a so-called no-no, that an Africa united would be a problem for them. So they sought to undermine it, and they used Tubman to undermine the bringing together of Africa. So if you go in deep into African history, you see about the so-called Addis Conference and the Casablanca Conference. Tubman was financed by the United States to host a Monrovia Conference to divide African leaders to prevent the unity of Africa at the time. And quite strangely, that division led to the creation of ECOWAS. The charter and everything of ECOWAS was written. That divide and rule led to the O.A.U. It was not supposed to be O.A.U. It was supposed to be what? The United States of Africa at that time. And so because of that, all of us that were growing up knowing the history of that did not like it. Tubman fell out with most of his colleagues, and eventually the compromise was the O.A.U. And what happened to Kwame Nkrumah? He was overthrown by we know who, by Western intelligence. So that's why the Tubman years for us, for me, was a very terrible time. And so we saw an opportunity moving from Tubman and moving into Togo as an opportunity to begin to to free Liberia, and as a result, a lot of the other African states. Before I conclude this answer, during that period, Nigeria, Togo, all of these countries obtained their independence during that period, and Liberia was instrumental. And so Tubman was seen as the godfather of Africa at that particular time, and people listened to him. So once he threw this, figuratively speaking, this monkey wrench into the process, that killed the whole thing.